Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Let's Watch. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. As I always say, don't use YouTube as a replacement for therapy. If you need a therapist, get one. You deserve it. Let's watch.
Him so long because our visa will run out and I will have to go to Russia and Steven will have to go back to America, and long distance, that's not good for our relationship because he might start communicating with other girls again.
Okay, so which is rational for her to believe, but it's interesting that she recognizes that and still wants to marry him. It's fine. People can make their own decisions, but basically what she's saying is that unless she locks him down now while they're in Turkey and brings him to Russia with her, he will go back to the States and will cheat on her. That's the, paper thin trust that she has for him, which of course makes a lot of sense. The fact that she believes that he won't cheat if he's married to her is not exactly very wise. We don't know, but in terms of a track record, he doesn't have a great one. And so I'm sure a lot of viewers and her mom, Alina's mom, and a lot of her friends are probably saying, "What are you doing?" The guy has not demonstrated that he's a trustworthy human being who cares about you. So you should probably, take it slower. But that's what's happening.
Yes, I'm very nervous. If we will not be able to get married just as soon as possible, я просто заплачу, потому что это невозможно уже ждать больше времени.
Yeah, she's been pretty consistent with those sentiments that she desperately wants to marry him. She's very much in love. She is 110% sure she wants to spend the rest of her life with him. Now, a lot of people I know in the comments section will say that she's too young to make that decision, particularly because a lot of people think that Steven is a D-bag. So there's that.
Wow. 2 days from now. That's not a lot of time to plan a wedding. And I think if I were looking at my life from the side, I'd probably be asking, what is this kid doing? This is so fast.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are looking at two of them from the side and saying that including me. Now, as a therapist, I don't have an opinion. As a citizen, I would say, what's the purpose? What are you in a rush for? Is it a 100-yard dash race that you have to get to the finish line as fast as possible? Take your time, linger, date, figure it out, make sure that you're right for each other. Up until this point, I think they have had a total of, maybe 10 weeks in person. I mean, imagine that. Just imagine that. Well, so here's an exercise. Think of everyone that you've ever dated in your entire life. And if you're older, you probably have a lot. You probably have a lot of those in your life. Think about all the people that you dated for 10 weeks and it was a disaster later on. That's potentially what they're headed into. Now, maybe they won't. And plenty of people get married very quickly and they manage. But why would you want to take that chance when you don't have to?
Он нарушит там семейные уставы, уставы верности, еще там чего-нибудь. Так и будет нарушать постоянно, всю жизнь. Тебя это не настораживает?
Настораживает, а что я могу сделать?
Interesting. So the mom is pointing out something that is wise, which is he's lied to you and been against his own belief, his spoken belief system. And when people do that, then it raises the likelihood of them doing that. The mom is saying he'll definitely do in the future, but I would say it raises the likelihood without some significant amount of therapy or self-discovery or something, which doesn't seem to be occurring. And Alina agrees with that, which is good because I think that that's rational. To review, the lies that I think are the most concerning, people tend to, in the comments, they'll focus on his, breaking of his religion, but a lot of, I don't know his particular sect of Mormonism, but people that are religious that I know of, that I've treated, they recognize that sin or breaking the rules is a part of life. It's not about living perfectly. It's about always striving to do the right thing. And there's always going to be temptation, whether you frame it as it's from the devil or from your own human nature or from being triggered or something. There's always going to be mistakes, and that's okay. It doesn't mean this horrible, horrible thing. It doesn't mean you're a horrible, horrible person. If you really, really do a horrible thing, then it might mean that you should be terribly ashamed. But the fact that he has, drank, what did he say that he'd win against? Oh, he had sex before marriage. I wouldn't really focus on that in terms of, unless you're looking for like a very, very pure Mormon or something, which I don't think she is. What I'd be more concerned about is that he was flirting with women, on at least one woman and potentially many women online, while he was in Turkey with her, lied about it up and down, and then played it off like it was no big deal. That would be very concerning. The other, also even potentially bigger lie, was that he seemingly, knowingly led her on to believe that they were definitely going to get married. And while they were, chatting online, after only having dated for 2 weeks in person, and she was led to believe by him that they were going to get married, they're going to have kids, definitely 100% it's going to happen, while he was dating other women and had put Alina, definitely on the back burner. That is a huge deal, to observe someone doing that. I mean, just imagine someone doing that to you. You're dating someone, and you essentially are engaged, although not officially. And then all of a sudden you find out, and they kind of broach the topic, right, of, can I date other people? And then you kind of say, no, I don't want to date. I don't want either one of us dating other people. And then they kind of hem and haw, and you think the issue is over. And then later on, you find out that they, from that point forward, and maybe even before that point, were dating all sorts of people, having sex, and you were just this complete afterthought. So and she, so of course she's concerned about that. And she's, yeah, it does worry me, but what can I do? I think a lot is in that sentence. What can I do? Does that mean I'm in love, or the ball is rolling in terms of marriage? He wants me to marry him. I don't know. I can't reject. What does that mean? She sounds like she's trapped by something. What is she trapped by?
Ты можешь как бы не участвовать во всем этом, а просто вернуться в Россию.
Я его простила, и теперь он стал меняться.
На самом деле у меня веры мало в это.
Okay, so it sounds like Alina believes that he's changed and that he won't do those things anymore. And there's a chance that he won't. I know that a lot of people will say, he's a D-bag, he'll always be a D-bag. But, people do change, people grow up, people make mistakes, and it's possible that, I've treated a lot of people, both individuals, couples, families, and I've been observing people for a long time and trying to predict or seeing how things turn out later on, I guess is a better way to put it. And so I'll look back and see like certain signs. And what I can tell you is that there's nothing in their relationship right now that is absolutely, I'm having a hard time saying that. I'm not seeing any signs that their relationship is doomed, that she's going to be treated horribly. There are some red flags for sure. Absolutely. But we'll just have to see. There's a chance that they'll never be on the show again. They get married, they go to Russia, and we never hear from them again because they just are living quietly by themselves. Or they don't get married, who knows? But so I guess what I'm saying is, Alina, I know a lot of people think Alina is this young, idealistic idiot, essentially. And, maybe she is young, maybe she is idealistic. I think she has stated as much. But maybe she knows. Maybe she's like, no, you don't know. And we don't know. Behind closed doors, there's things that happen. I mean, not necessarily sex things, but, communication and vibe and understanding and revelations and vulnerability. And maybe she's seen all that and says, I know that he's changed. So we just have to, the reason why I say this is because, and I've said this before, that I see a lot of people seemingly being ageist with her, that because of her age, it's just like her opinion doesn't matter, that she couldn't possibly understand how life works because of how old she is. And certainly with age, we gain wisdom and experience, hopefully. But that doesn't mean that someone her age can't be wise and can't make a good choice. But I don't know. I just can't tell.
Все правильно, потому что я привыкла прислушиваться к маме. Она обычно дает мне очень хороший совет. Но все равно это мое личное решение, и я все же хочу пожениться. Я верю в то, что мы очень любим друг друга и что мы будем вместе навсегда.
Yeah, okay. So she's just really convinced that things have changed and that he won't do those things to her. And or she, there's a chance that she's like, well, if he has a few dalliances here and there, I'm not looking forward to that, but it's not the end of the world. As long as we have a good life together and he loves me, then, maybe so that's another question mark, is where's the dad? What was the relationship like there? What kind of relationship models has she seen? And then you think the mom seems pretty prickly around Steven, so maybe she's experienced a Steven in her life. Maybe Alina has been, that sort of behavior has been normalized somehow for her. I don't know. There's just no way to tell. Or he is a better guy than it seems from the show, and she has seen that side of him, and they'll live happily ever after.
Если мы поженимся, а потом что-то пойдет не так. По крайней мере, я буду знать, что я попробовала.
Все надеются.
Well, that's an interesting way of framing it. She'll say, if I get married and something goes wrong, I know at least I tried. I wonder what she means by that. At least I tried. Does that mean she thinks that Steven is her only option and it's worth rolling the dice? Or is she saying, look, I don't think something's going to happen, but if it does, it's like, well, I can't just run away from everything, every risk in life. I don't know what she means by that. All right. Well, if you haven't become a patron of the podcast and the YouTube channel, you can do so now by clicking on the link below. When you become a patron, it shows us that you support what we're doing. I literally depend on people becoming patrons so that I can pay my bills. This is my full-time job now because people have been asking for more content, and so I've been cutting back on my other jobs, and I love it, and I wouldn't be able to do it if people didn't become patrons. So if you want to become a patron, it really is a critical part of this whole endeavor. Also, you get access to some of our best episodes, our best audio episodes anyway. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.